Hello, Happiness Abounder, and welcome back. As we're kicking off another week and another episode, I'm really excited to dive into this concept of mindset and emotional management. And today I want to talk about something called the CLEAR model. And if you are a longtime listener, you have probably heard me talk about this model before, but I do want to bring it up again, because we're going to once a week episodes, and the CLEAR model was always part of a theme week previously. But also, it's a great reminder for how we can use the CLEAR model and method to move through stressful or really impactful and maybe a negative way situations. So that said, let's dive into the CLEAR model. So first and foremost, what in the world is the CLEAR model and how do we use it? Well, let's take a look at the acronym for CLEAR. In our case, CLEAR stands for circumstance, language, emotion, action, and results. I'll say that one more time. It stands for circumstance, language, actions, and circumstance, language, emotions, actions, and results. I can spell, I promise. So that said, where do we use this model and why is it important? Especially in stressful situations. Here's the thing. The language that we tell ourselves around any situation is what sparks our emotions, our actions, and the results we get regarding that particular situation. So if you have something great happen, the language you tell yourself is going to shape the emotions, the actions you take, and your results. Flip side of that, something negative may happen. Things you tell yourself going to shape your emotions, your actions, and your results. The circumstance itself, the situation itself, is neutral. So the first part of the CLEAR model, the C, is circumstance, and that equals neutral. Does not matter what the situation is. Could have been in a car accident, could be suffering poor health, you could have just gotten married, could have gotten a promotion at work. All of those are neutral. It's the language that we use, the things that we tell ourselves in our brain, that then shapes how the situation, the circumstance that is neutral, is going to play out for us. So, how can we use this in a stressful situation? We can always look at the circumstance as neutral. Then we need to monitor our language. We need to pay attention to what we are saying to ourselves and how that can shape and shift the entire rest of the CLEAR model. I'm going to use an example, big surprise, but recently, actually last week, I won an award for my work in my day job. It's actually something I had on my vision board. That's something to talk about for another day, but it's something I had on my vision board. It was something I really, really wanted. It was a goal of mine. And then some other things happened, and I was like, there's just no way that I'm going to win said award. And I kind of just passed it off as like it wasn't going to happen. And that was in like a 72-hour time frame period. It wasn't like it happened months ago. I said it months ago, and then I've been like, no, it's not going to happen. It really was like, some stuff has gone down. I think I'm probably out of the running now. That really sucks. Well, I actually ended up winning it. And I couldn't even fathom that I had won it because I thought that there was no way. But also the things I started telling myself completely shaped my emotions around it. It wasn't, oh my gosh, I won, how amazing. There was a little bit of that when I realized I had won. That's a whole different story. But there was this doubt that came in. This concept and this mindset of, you didn't really earn it. You didn't deserve it. You don't deserve it. You're not worthy of this reward. There's so many other people that are more deserving than you. You just pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Like all those thoughts. And here's the thing, the circumstance of winning an award, regardless of like how much I wanted or my vision board, any of that stuff, that's neutral. It's the language I'm telling myself. And the language I was telling myself was that I didn't deserve it. I wasn't good enough. That I faked it. And then what'd that do? That led to emotions of, overwhelm and anxiety and worry and fear and this imposter syndrome and this falsehood. And then what'd that do? That led to me taking actions that supported feeling that way, like not filling out the thing that I'm supposed to fill out that I won, that's supposed to be like a bio. Didn't do that. I didn't do these pieces, these actions that needed to support this award because I didn't feel I deserved it. And luckily, I'm not too far on the side of the results where I can see the detriment that that's caused because I can use the clear model. So I started having these thoughts and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't deserve it. Started taking these actions or feeling these emotions, taking these actions and getting these results. So then I was like, wait, I need to use the clear model. The circumstance is neutral. I won an award. Why am I telling myself I don't deserve it? How can I change that language? So I started to shift and change that language of this isn't just for the last 2 days of work. This is the last 2 years of high quality work. Meaning that maybe I do deserve it. Maybe I have earned it. Maybe there's things that other people see and they believe in you, and that's a good thing. Right? So then the emotions are that I'm seen, that I do a good job, that I'm a good leader. Then the actions are filling out that paperwork and thinking about how I want to present this and how I want to talk about this and the excitement around it, which leads to the results of being excited and happy that I won something that was on my vision board that I wanted, that I've worked really hard for. But all comes back to the language that you say in your head to yourself, or the language that you allow other people to say and put into your head. Because I had people being like, oh, you deserve it. You do such a great job. Oh yeah, you were a shoo-in, all of these things. And I didn't want to believe it. I wasn't going to let that language get into my head. I was going to keep the negative thoughts. But it can happen on the other side too. You can be like, I feel so great. And people are like, do you really deserve it? And you're like, oh, I guess not. Like, that's up to you if you want to let that language, the language of others, come into your head. But I would suggest not. I would suggest working through the clear model and really honing in on that thoughts portion, which is why this falls under our mindset category. Honing in on that to make sure that you understand what you might need to shift to get different results, to have different actions, to feel different in your life. Now, I use the example of winning an award. Not everybody wins awards every day. I certainly know I don't. This was a real eye-opening thing for me. It happened last week. A real eye-opening thing for me because I had had the lowest of the low a day and a half before, and then the highest of the high, and my mindset and my thoughts were the same. And that was really rough. And I had to work through the clear model and make the conscious decision to monitor, pay attention to my language, but then to also make the conscious shift to change my language. Now, here's the other thing of this. If you have ever struggled with maintaining a diet, with eating healthy, with working out, with doing something that requires almost everyday consistent action, and you have not been able to take those actions, what thoughts do you have around the action itself? Because if you work through the clear model, let's say it's eating healthy. That's something I think we all can relate to. Whatever eating healthy is for you, of course. So let's say it's eating healthy. All right, so eating healthy, the circumstance is neutral. It's neutral that you have made a commitment to eat healthy and there's cake in front of you. Doesn't matter. There's no emotion attached to that. There's no language attached to that. That's just the circumstance. The language that you use and you say is what shapes the rest of it. This stupid diet. If I wasn't on this diet, I could have that cake. Oh my gosh, that cake is just calling to me. If I had it today, I could start my diet over on Monday. Right? Those are the thoughts. Or I don't need that much sugar. No, I'm good. It's not part of my diet. maybe next time. The thoughts across the neutral circumstance are what shape those emotions. Because if you're like, oh no, I'm good, it's not part of my diet, maybe next time. The emotion is you're not distraught and overthinking and worrying about this piece of cake. And I say cake because I love frosting. Buttercream frosting is my favorite. So cake is my downfall. But not really, because I use my language and I change my mind about it. But that said, that's why I'm using cake. Your language shapes it. So then if you're like, oh, this stupid diet, I really want that cake. It's right there in front of me. I could start over on Monday, no big deal. That leads to these emotions of kind of like this anxiety, this angst, if you will, too, where you're like mad at the diet that you decided to pick and that you're going to put it off. And then what happens? That frustration, that anxiety leads to the actions of, all right, I'm going to put this off. I'm going to eat this cake right now because I deserve it. And not that you don't deserve it. Maybe you do. But the point being is that the stuff that you're saying in your head is what shapes the emotions that then shapes the actions. And then the results are, let's say that you eat the cake. The result is you ate the cake. And here's where it gets interesting. The cycle continues. Now, the circumstance of eating the cake is neutral. It's the language you use around it that shapes the rest. Meaning, if you went through that whole thing and you eat the cake, then your language goes to, I can't stick to a diet. I can't maintain anything. I'm inconsistent. What's wrong with me? I'm such an idiot. I said I didn't want to eat sugar and then I gave in. And then what happens? Those actions or those thoughts shape the emotions that you're feeling, which is you feel bad, you may feel sick, you may feel worry, you may feel a lack of confidence, you may feel downtrodden, you may also feel frustrated with yourself now, not the diet or the cake. And that leads to the actions of, well, I can't do it anyway, so I might as well eat whatever I want. And then the results are in 3 months, you're like, I should probably go and start trying to eat healthy again. And then you go through the cycle again. Like, really, think about this. And maybe it's not diet, right? But there's something in your life that this pathway, this language, this clear model has cycled through for you. I guarantee it. Now, I use food and health. I'm not a health person. Like, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a physical trainer, any of that stuff. So let's set that groundwork right now. I'm not telling you that cake is bad or that it's not healthy or that it is. I'm using it as an example because that's one that I struggle with. Okay, but whatever it is for you, whatever that thing is that you've committed to, and then a circumstance comes up and then you tell yourself, I don't need to commit to it. And you follow all of that path and then you cycle back through and you beat yourself up for it. And then you're so overwhelmed that you cycle back through and you continue to beat yourself up for it, that the actions are you don't work on it because you don't feel you can, because the language you use in your head. Yeah. Whatever that thing is for you, I want you to think about that right now. Because here's the thing. Using the clear model, this clear method, you can stop that in its tracks. Or at least to start, you can retroactively see where you went wrong. And wrong for you and whatever that means. But you can see where you diverged from the path you had set for yourself. And it all starts with the language you use in your head around the circumstances. That is why mindset is one of the key components of the happiness formula. Now, if you're a first-time listener, you may not be aware of the happiness formula. We divide each episode into one of 4 categories, and that's identity, vision, mindset, and leadership equals goal achievement and or your happiness. You have those 4 things and things within those 4 categories, you can achieve your goals. And the clear method, clear model is one of my favorite things to be able to do that. Because if your goal is to do whatever it is that you want to do, but your mindset, the language you're using in your head is keeping you from doing that because it's pushing forward other emotions and pushing forward other actions, which are leading to results you don't want, it's time to change your language. Ooh, right? Time to change your language. So it starts by paying attention to your language. It starts by working yourself through the clear model, whether in real time or retroactively, and seeing where things might have gone off the rails a little bit. If I go back to that idea of this award that I won, it went off the rails at my language. It went off the rails at this thought that I didn't think I really deserved it. So then I tried to tell myself I didn't deserve it. Then my emotions that were led by my thoughts started to really lean into that, started to prove, air quotes, prove that to me. Then I took actions to continue to prove that those thoughts were correct because I don't want to be wrong. And then there's the results. I'm not taking the actions I need to actually receive the award that I won. Now, isn't that crazy? But if I just change my language, I can generate emotions that support the language and the concepts. And those emotions then generate actions that support those emotions, which support the language. And then I get the results that support my ultimate goal. So I now feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but I hope that you understand where I'm coming from on this clear model and that you can apply it to your own life. It is a game changer when it comes to changing and shifting your mindset, being able to achieve your goals. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I hope that this episode has resonated with you. And if you are already familiar with the clear model, I hope that you can now go, oh, actually, I can apply it to this, this, and this. Because literally it can be applied to anything because any circumstance is neutral. It could be cleaning your house, right? I don't want to clean my house. There's the language. Then the emotions are, I don't want to clean my house. It's overwhelming and it's a lot to do. And, but if I don't clean my house, it's going to be a mess. And of course, someone's going to come over and then I'm going to be embarrassed and da-da-da-da-da. And you might guilt shame yourself into actions that lead to a clean house result. But then you feel bad about that. And guess what happens? Cycle continues. So, like I said, it can be applied to literally any circumstance in your life. And I would love to be able to support you in that and help you walk through that model, whether it's here through this episode or personally. So that said, I hope that this episode has helped. I truly do, because the clear model is such a game changer. And if you would like to see a written, because obviously this is video and audio podcast, if you would like to see a written breakdown of the clear model and what each of those mean, and have a template to help you work through each of those for a retroactive circumstance and kind of see how it works and functions, you can go to the Happiness Abounders Facebook group. That's that's facebook.com/groups/happinessabounders. And I will have a free worksheet that explains the clear model and method, as well as has a template to help you work through it in a retroactive or even a situation you may currently be in. So you can see it and feel it and do it in real time and get the practice and the full understanding beyond just listening to me talk about it. So if you are interested in that, again, you can go to facebook.com/groups/happinessabounders, fill out the quick information to join this private group, and then you can get access to this file for this episode, as well as files to any previous episodes and future episodes. So I'd love to see you in the group. Now, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns surrounding the clear method and you would like to reach out to me personally, you can find me through that Facebook group, and or you can reach me at happinessabound.com. I'm always happy to discuss the clear model and walk through it more thoroughly. So that said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. I hope you are able to apply the clear model to your life to be happier, and above everything else, remember, you are capable of happiness abound.